What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a while. It's been a while since your boy Black Bond has made a video, but I am feeling motivated today. I'm feeling motivated this week. I am feeling motivated this month. And it's going to be a good week this week. We got new consoles coming out. We got the PlayStation 5 being sent over to me. Thank you, Kid Smooth. I ordered RTX 3080, which should be in today. I am getting the Samsung 970 EVO 2 terabyte SSD M2.NVMe drive. That should be here tomorrow. We have Cyberpunk hopefully not being delayed because, Baron did lose our match. I am going to be speaking on Hard 8's latest episode of AGS because I found that segment completely and entirely annoying about guys talking about how they have 80 games on a hard drive but take 2 years to beat a game. That to me is just absolutely ridiculous. We have Weapon Wheel, which is doing very good lately. Them views are way up. Ever since we did that last episode, we've been seeing a lot more engagement, and we really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So if you like us at Weapon Wheel, please follow us over at the Weapon Wheel. Please follow the homies, Broken Games HD, Jack Move Johnny, Kid Smooth, Jimmy, and myself. Feel free to follow me. You know what kind of content I bring. Always bring good content to the gamers. Puerto Rock isn't your only friend out here. We also have a Patreon, so, if you don't need to support it, you shouldn't have to support it. But if you could support it, or you want to support it, feel free. We always appreciate people supporting us. You get some good goodies and some extra things, and you get the little After Dark, which everybody loves, and you get to see Queen Mocha. She comes on every now and again, and that makes things fun. But today, right now, I need to talk about this PlayStation 5 Kotaku review by Mr. Ian Walker. Now, I personally don't care about any of these console reviews. Consoles are static machines. I don't have to worry about overclocking them. I don't have to worry about compatibility with my PC. I don't have to worry about will it fit into my micro ATX case, heat dissipation, wattage, power usage, memory. Don't have to worry about it. When it comes to a console hardware review, all I want to know is, does it work? Does it red ring? Does it yellow ring? And is it durable and reliable? That is all. Could care less about everything else. Does it work? Does it break? Period. The end. I'm good. And hard drive space, I guess, because that pretty much made the Xbox Series S irrelevant. But this review was what the hell. I don't understand how Mr. Ian Walker has a job at Kotaku. And if Mr. Ian Walker has a job at Kotaku, a gaming site, I don't understand why he was chosen to do a review on a gaming console, on a piece of technology, on any gaming hardware, period. Now we can scroll through and cutie with the booty. What the hell? Cutie with the beauty. The PS5 interface is the product, which is also weird. Can't quit you. The SSD. Oh god, the frame rate section, which I want to touch on more. Once more with, these are ridiculous topics and headlines to be using on a hardware review. Period. So let's get into it. Oh god, it's the frame rate section. If I'm being honest, I never understood the constant clamor for higher frame rates in video games. If I was the editor-in-chief at Kotaku, as soon as I read this sentence, Mr. Ian Walker would have been removed from this topic, from this article. I would have gotten somebody else. How are you working for a gaming website, but you don't understand the constant clamor for higher frame rates, the constant clamor for a smoother, more responsive gameplay experience? The fact that you don't understand this makes me wonder how you got a job, how you were given this article to write, and how the editor-in-chief at Kotaku, did not pull your article entirely to get somebody more competent to write this. This is embarrassing. Period. Continuing on, and to continue bearing my soul, it's not that serious, bruh. I'm still not entirely convinced of its necessity when it comes to games on the PlayStation 5, although I'm starting to come around. How are you just now in 2020, just now starting to come around to the benefits of higher frame rates? How? How do you have a job at Kotaku? Does not make sense. 60 frames has always been better than 30, and we're now paying $500 for new hardware, and you don't understand the importance? Like, what is going on? What is going on? And this is even crazier. Let's highlight this portion. For example, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales Performance Mode, which does away with the bells and whistles like ray tracing and true 4K to maintain a consistent 60 frames per second, is nice, but ultimately ends up eliciting the same reaction from me as movies filmed at anything higher than 24 frames per second. It feels weird. Huh? Mr. Walker, you literally just complained about games being 60 frames being the equivalent of movies shot at anything higher than 24 frames. You do not play a movie, you watch a movie. You play a game, you interact with a game, you transmit inputs from your fingers to the machine to play a game. Now, I understand how people can say movies at higher than 24 frames can be jarring. But to make the equivalent to 60 frames per second gaming? Wow. Wow. I'm speechless. I'm convinced my discomfort with 60 frames per second video games is a byproduct of years of getting by with less. Most major games on the PlayStation 5 seem to at least give players the option between peak fidelity and performance, which I appreciate. Getting by with less. That is... What? Oh, this might be like the eating crap or dating ugly woman analogy. You get something good and now you don't know how to handle it? Is that what we're talking about here? You drive a piece of crap, but now that you get something good, you can afford something nice. Now you don't know how to handle it? Discomfort with 60 frames per second? Yeah, I have discomfort with 60 frames per second too, because I want to play at 120, not at 30. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. That a person stating they have discomfort over 60 frames per second was allowed to work at a gaming website, let alone write an article reviewing the PlayStation 5. Unbelievable. But it gets worse, people. It gets worse. But does it really matter? This review has spent 3,000 words talking about the PlayStation 5, which is the most I've written about anything. It's a good video game console there has ever been. The combination of blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's not the point I wanted to get to. But I'd remiss to ignore all the reasons not to be excited for the PlayStation 5. The world is still reeling under the weight of the pandemic. There are more Americans out of work right now than any point in the country's history, with no relief in sight. Our healthcare system is an inherently evil institution that forces people to ration life-saving medications like insulin and choose suicide over suffering with unrelated mental illness. What the hell does this have to do with the review of the PlayStation 5? Please explain to me what the pandemic, mental illness, and our healthcare system has to do with the review of a piece of technology. If you want to rant about this anywhere else, oh, go ahead. Sure, go for it. But on a hardware review, why is this paragraph in here? It gets worse though, people. As I'm writing this, it looks like Joe Biden will be our next president, but it's clear that the worst people aren't going away just because a new old white man is sitting behind the Resolute desk. Well, at least not this old white man. Our government is fundamentally broken in a way that necessitates radical change rather than incremental electoralism. What? This is a hardware review. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be real. But when I go out to buy a Samsung 970 EVO, the M.2 NVMe, and I drop $300 on it, when I go out and buy the RTX 3080 and drop $800 on it, do you think I'm worried about Biden and Trump? Do you think I'm worried about electoralism, white people, our healthcare system, insulin, people that are dealing with mental problems? No. No, 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 no. And no, none of that has anything to do with me upgrading my computer. It doesn't. It gets worse. The harsh truth is that, for the reasons listed above and more, a lot of people simply won't be able to buy a PlayStation 5 regardless of supply. Or if they can, concerns over increasing austerity, I don't even know that word, in the United States and the growing threat of widespread political violence supersede any enthusiasm about the console's SSD or how ray tracing makes reflections more realistic. So, let's highlight this. Where is that one section? Okay. The growing threat of widespread political violence superseded any enthusiasm about the console's asset, whatever. So here's my point, Mr. Walker. If the political climate does not have you enthused for your job, maybe Kotaku needs to replace you and get somebody that is enthused to do their job, that is capable of doing their job, that is good at doing their job. Clearly, you have things going on that you need to take care of. I mean, we're talking about the healthcare system, mental illness, and you have a lot of other things going on in your life, and that's normal. I understand. But maybe, just maybe, you might need to take a little vacation, a 2-week hiatus to clear your head before you come back to work. Because this is not what people are looking for in a hardware review. You could have put this in a completely different article on your main website, which would have been fine. We would have saw it. We would have read it. We would understand where you're coming from. But none of this has anything to do with the review of the hardware. Does the election dictate the speed of the PlayStation 5? Does political violence affect the storage capacity of the PlayStation 5? Does the president affect the rendering rates of ray tracing on the PlayStation 5? No. And the funny thing is, Mr. Walker, before I even looked to see who you were, I'm like, this has to be an irregular that has their trophy scores highlighted and their accounts on private. And lo and behold, we have an irregular with tweets that are protected. I don't know why journalism continues to hire these people. Isn't this where Jason Schreier used to work? Good for you, man, on getting out. This website is complete trash. This was can you even call this a review? It sounds like somebody crying and complaining about an election. I'm Black Bond. I will catch you guys later tonight to do a review on a section of AGS. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at the BlackBRI. Take it easy. Enjoy your week.